England, a mysterious damp island, and the birthplace of such excellent phrases as poppycock, blimey, and bottle of water. Is this island as beautiful and posh as the movies suggest? Does it rain all the time? And is there an obsession with shrubbery, as Monty Python has led me to believe? In this video, I'd like to share my cultural observations and findings from my very first trip to the British Isles as a Canadian. Grab yourself a good cup of tea. Lipton, I've been told, does not count because we're flying to England. Jolly good. I wonder if I'll run into any of the great detectives. What's that? You mean Sherlock Holmes? No. Nobbleberry, you plum! You what? The beautiful British countryside. Absolutely stunning, isn't it? This adorable town checks off all the cliché house builds I expected to see in the UK. And I found out a few scenes for Harry Potter were actually filmed in this town, so yes, it does literally look just like the movies to me. However, I'd like to fully admit from the get-go that I am not above childish humor. In this case, I was flabbergasted that only I, in the group of people I was with, found this town name to be so very humorous. Cock. And while we're talking about funny words, there were quite a few moments when I felt like I was visiting a non-English speaking country. Could someone from the UK please explain what this is? Don't worry, I did Google it when I got home and discovered that haberdashery is a complicated way of saying business person who sells small articles for sewing, dressmaking, and knitting, such as buttons, ribbons, and zippers. How Pride and Prejudice. And it turns out it was very popular in the 1900s, but apparently it might be making a comeback. I ran across these chips, or as they say in the UK, crisps, at the train station. Biggleswade Sweet Chili Crisps. Biggleswade is a place, but it actually sounds like something you'd name your adorable pet pig.
Biggleswade, get over here right now, you cute little oinker.
After seeing Lecoq and Biggleswade, I had to do some ye old-fashioned Googling to see if there were any more names out there that I should be aware of. And let me tell you, I've made a list of my favorites. Brace yourself. Booty Lane, Brown Willie, Bushy Gap, Cock Alley, Cock Green, Cock Law, Cock and Bell Lane, Cockermouth, Cock and Take, Cockpit Hill, Cockplay Cocks, Cockershoot Close, Cockshut Wood, Cock Lake District, Flush Shank, Fudge Pack upon Humber, Giggleswick, Golden Balls, Great Cock Up, and Little Cock Up, Horny Man, Horny Old Road, and at this point, Lecoq really doesn't seem that bad anymore. The long and horny road, doo-doo. A lesser-known Beatles song. Before I visited the UK, scenes from Pride and Prejudice and the quirky Harry Potter buildings seemed like stuff out of someone's imagination. But then I stumbled across such magical-looking places, like this atmospheric old firehouse pub in Exeter. It's giving me very Leaky Cauldron pub vibes, and they serve up a great selection of cider. The Crooked House in Windsor is clearly magical, and it gives me Weasley family home vibes. Look at how slanted this is.
How is it still standing?
And the Christmas Steps in Bristol? It's obviously a place to buy magical items like Diagon Alley. You cannot convince me otherwise. With ye olde painted dragons and stone carvings, narrow twisted passageways, and clearly the double-decker night bus in the background, I can confirm that yes, magic exists in the UK, whether the grumbly muggles see it or not. And although I wasn't dressed for the part, I couldn't resist a dramatic cliffside spin in honor of Lizzie from Pride and Prejudice. And this nifty view from Old John Tower in Leicestershire allowed a clear view of a sprawling manor, and just like Lizzie, it reminded me of how very Pavo I am in comparison. I really don't know what everyone is complaining about regarding the weather, because it was absolutely fantastic when I visited. It was just, okay, wait, never mind, it came for me. On my adventures in the UK, I discovered that you cannot trust the average Brit's response to the question, Should I bring an umbrella? Do I need to have my slicker boots?
Now, I consider any amount of water in the air which can make me feel wet or damp to be rain. But it turns out that is not considered rain to the average Brit. Large amounts of trace water in the air is but a mere sprinkling to them. Most people don't even seem to use umbrellas in weather conditions that I consider to be quite wet. After soaking the front of my pants and sneakers quite a few times, I decided to buck against the system and bring out my brolly and slickers despite the "it's not raining" remarks from other people. But the rain doesn't have to bring you down. Welcome to Lyme Regis, a town in West Dorset. It was built to allow water to flow downhill to power a mill. If you're looking for a rainy day spot in the UK, Lyme Regis should be your go-to. Absolutely gorgeous.
This town is unbelievably beautiful. It's like Japan and Venice had a baby. It's just absolutely beautiful. Wow, look at this.
Explore Coombe Street, or Combs Street, for food and drinks. It's an area so historic and cute, there should be a new word invented to describe it. Like histute, or like cutoric or something. We grabbed a pint and enjoyed the patio view overlooking the hectic ocean, and I loved every minute of it.
Wait, so where's my beer?
And while we're talking about things to be aware of, beware the British person and their definition of what a walk entails. To me, a walk is more like a stroll around the neighborhood. If we're going off the sidewalk and into nature, I would call that a hike, even if it's a small hike, and then I'd wear the appropriate shoes or pants or trousers. But I've learned that on all occasions during my visit, going for a walk means you better be prepared for a rough and ready nature walk. Fortunately, I packed my hiking sneakers with me and started taking them with me on all occasions, since you never know when grass and potential mud may get involved. I also realized that during these walks, I also got to encounter several different types of animals from the UK. A casual walk in Bristol turned into climbing down into a gully filled with wild goats. Amazing. Did you know that Bristol has wild goats? I mean, the city knows the goats are there, so it's not like they're wild, but they are just walking around doing goat things. And look at this absolutely epic view of the Clifton Suspension Bridge in Bristol. It spans over the Avon Gorge, and yes, of course we walked up to see this view. So, always be prepared for grass, hills, and nature. I also realized during these walks that I got to encounter several different animals from the UK. There were goats, a white nest of swans, and then the UK alpha predator, the seagull. These seagulls are no joke. I watched someone lose their whole plate of fish and chips to a horde of seagulls. We could do nothing to help, only watch. The locals make drawings on the walls and sell seagull souvenirs, undoubtedly to warn others of their constant presence. So I get it now. Bring your boots and roam with the cows carefree when you visit the UK. And speaking of cows, these aren't your average moo-moos. They have opened their very own 24/7 milk vending machine. Wow! Ladies, gents, and them, having lived in Japan for over 6 years, I can appreciate a good vending machine. Located at Axminster Station, you can meet Poppy Cow, offering fresh milk and 6 flavors of milkshake. Now, I love me some milk, so I bought the 1-liter glass bottle, which is now being used as a lovely vase souvenir, and then milking in process. It was fantastic, but not too creamy, just the right mouthfeel. I chugged that liter like a British man, watching England screw up during penalties. Again! They also sell local free-range eggs, butter, homemade fudge, sausage rolls, and more. I didn't realize that the UK had such an awesome milk scene, but I'm glad I've discovered it now.
Next, I'll be sharing some of my food adventures from the UK, but first, a cheeky pint. And cheers to Saily, the sponsor of this video. They are our most excellent global eSIM, made up by the brainiacs at NordVPN.
If you travel nowadays, you know that data is essential. Getting a SIM card once you land in a new country is a total pain in the arse. Luckily, thanks to
eSIM technology of the future,
you can easily choose from hundreds of affordable data plans in over 150 countries. Download the Saily app, choose your destination, and choose the data plan you want. Then enter promo code King Kogi to get 15% off your first purchase. Best part, you can set up your eSIM on your device before you fly out, so as soon as you land, your data is activated. No more searching out sketchy public Wi-Fi and hanging out in hotel lobbies. You guys know what I'm talking about.
My friends and family have already been using Saily while traveling, and I just want to quote an actual text message I got from one of my family members after using it. Thank you for encouraging me to use Saily eSIM. It worked perfectly with 1/5 of the normal cost. I'll get 15 gigabytes next time. I mean, what else do you need to hear? So go to saily.com/KingKogi and use my promo code KingKogi to get 15% off your first purchase. May your travel be filled with much deliciousness and wonderful adventures, and don't be afraid of technology of the future. And now on to the food highlights from my culinary adventures in the UK.
First, we're off to the 2024 curry capital of England in a famous city that starts with an L. Oh no, not London. We're going to Leicester! I had incredible vegetarian Indian food at Mithas restaurant. The samosa chaat and the palak paneer are a fave of mine, and they were fantastic. Leicester has been crowned as curry capital of England for 2024, and it has Indian, Bangladeshi, and Pakistani food all over the place. Big ups to John for taking us out for such a great meal. We traveled to Exeter, a cathedral city, and found some surprising gems. Now, one combination I wasn't expecting in the UK was good old-fashioned pubs and pizza. The Old Firehouse was not just charming, but also had delicious pan pizza on the menu. It had a bouncy, thick crust, covered generously, with tasty toppings, and it reminded me of eating homemade sheet pan pizza at my high school friend's house. And if a cold cider and a wood fire pizza out of a food truck sounds like your thing, then Top Sham Brewery at the Exeter Quay waterfront was also fantastic. 10 out of 10 would return again. Well, knock me down with a feather. I didn't expect Exeter to have such a tasty food scene. Sacred Grounds is a vegan restaurant, and as a true foodie, I review food based on how good it tastes, so I don't care if it's vegan or not. You're getting the same treatment, and this was good food. Scrumptious, savory buckwheat waffles, and the toppings change seasonally. Mine had a lot of delicious, crunchy veg. The Sacred Royale is made with oak-smoked carrot locks and their award-winning vegan poached eggs, made with silken tofu and witchcraft, you guys. It was so good. Very doubtful if you could make a poached egg vegan, but yeah, these guys did it. The next day we came back again to try their homemade Jaffa cakes. I've only ever had the packaged biscuit varietal, so this took it to the next level. I love a passionate chef and team, so check out Sacred Grounds if you're ever in Exeter for a guaranteed, innovative, and yummy meal. And what kind of a trip would it be to the UK if I didn't have fish and chips? I'm in Sidmouth, a seaside town, and heading to the Pea Green boat for some posh-o fish and chips so that I don't eat up 10 gallons of greasy fish batter. Hand-cut chunky chips, mushy peas, and battered hake. Not served greasy, just perfectly crisp with a sprinkle of sea salt on the outside, soft and juicy on the inside. And what a view. Now, I entirely blame my addiction to the Great British Bake Off for luring me into a cake shop. I had to try a Victorian sponge. It's a classic British dessert, and I have never tasted it before. I expected a lighter sponge. This cake was a bit more dense like a pound cake, but it was still soft and delicious. The strawberry jam inside wasn't too thick or sweet, and the buttercream was thick and yummy, not too sweet. The most old people living in Asia too long thing that I can tell you.
But it wasn't too sweet.
Any recommendations for a good Victoria sponge would be appreciated, as I must continue my research. For science, of course. And I can't complete a video about the UK without a good cup of coffee. That's right. Located on the coolest looking ye olde streets, I had to pass by the historical marvel, which is dubbed the House That Moved, an exquisite medieval merchant house built in the 1500s sometime. Crankhouse is a coffee roaster and a coffee shop. Buying whole beans to taste when I get home are a must. It brings my vacation vibes back to me, but within the comfort of my own home. I enjoyed the decor choices. I love the plants and the warm colors. The staff was helpful and friendly, but not overly, and the latte and pour-over coffee were bang on. Loved it. I would absolutely journey back for this cafe again. If you're a baseball fan, seeing the word bunting will make you think about the technique of making contact with the ball just enough rather than taking a normal swing. However, when it comes to the UK, that is not bunting. No matter where I went, these little flags were ever present, decorating the streets, alleys, and patios. They were strung up merrily outdoors, indoors, and inside pubs. It seems to be the national decoration of choice. I didn't see a balloon or flower garden present. It was just bunting all day long. Bunt, bunt, bunt. I, for one, enjoyed the ability of bunting to lift the spirit up and to add a splash of color to the brown, gray, and stone buildings. I love me some bunting now. Now, depending on where in the world you live, the word beach might mean different things to different people. However, if you're invited to go to the beach while in the UK, you might be better prepared if you bring your best hiking shoes rather than flip-flops, as there is an extremely high chance that you'll encounter a lot of rocks. Not sand, but rocks. Rocks! But all jokes aside, this was a great seaside town located in Devon in southwest England. 10 out of 10. Would visit again. It pretty much looked like a live-action Studio Ghibli movie. I mean, just look at this beauty. Yes, it looks like Sidmouth, but it's pronounced Sidmouth, and it has great vibes. This is one gigantic chair. Oof. All right. Got it. Gentle. First try. No one saw anything except for these two people and these three dogs. Dang it. Where were we? Ah, yes, walking the shores of Sidmouth. If you follow the red cliffs, you'll come across a massive incline. And after following it, you'll be on the top of the cliff in an ancient magical fortress in ruins. Only flowers bloom now.
Look, this is my video. I can spin whatever story I believe occurred here.
As I watched people play cricket with thatched roof cottages in the background, I ate ice cream so good it broke all my previous records. Sorry, Cremia. This is the most insanely rich and delicious ice cream I have ever beheld in my life. I have no video footage for you because I just ate it. I went for a double scoop of lemon curd and clotted cream, and it nearly sent me into a coma. It was so rich and delicious, and I ate it before I could film it. But just massive big ups to Chef Matthew Weaver for inventing Weaver's ice cream. Check it out at the Fort Cafe in Sidmouth. I hope now you have a much deeper understanding of this wonderfully strange little island, or maybe I've left it more confusing than when we started. I'll just have to go back again and do more research. And once again, thank you so much to the sponsor of this video, Saily. Do not forget to check out that info box and use the code King Kogi to get yourself an excellent discount on your first eSIM purchase. Keep keeping it cool in the King Kogi village, and I will see you on the interwebs.